On the news tonight, Governor Sheriff Oberewori inaugurates Zenith Bank branch Osubi. President Bola Tinubu flags off two major road projects in Abuja, reaffirming commitment to infrastructure, development and improved quality of life for Nigerians. Federal government moves to tackle cooking gas hoarding diversion. And abroad, Iran hails ceasefire as U.S. defeat despite lingering tensions. Good evening and welcome to Delta Television Main News tonight. I am Pauline Okolie. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Governor Sheriff Oberewori has inaugurated the Osubi branch of Zenith Bank PLC in Okpe local government area, describing the development as a strong endorsement of Delta State's economic potential and investor-friendly environment. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Governor Oberewori said the opening of the bank's 19th branch in the state reflected growing confidence in the state's economy and affirmed the success of his administration's efforts to create a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive. He noted that the establishment of the branch was a clear indication that investors were responding positively to government policies aimed at promoting economic growth and development. The governor commended the bank's group managing director and chief executive officer Adora Imoji and the management team for fulfilling their promise to establish a branch in Osubi. They described the development as historic, noting that it is the first banking institution in the community and a major milestone for residents who had long sought access to modern banking services. Governor Oberewori attributed the increasing inflow of investments into Delta State to the prevailing peace and security being enjoyed across the state. According to him, stable security conditions have continued to attract businesses and investors, creating opportunities for economic expansion and job creation. He expressed confidence that the new branch would provide quality banking services to residents of Osubi and neighboring communities, while also supporting entrepreneurs, strengthening small and medium-scale enterprises, promoting financial inclusion, and stimulating economic activities. Earlier, Dr. Umoji thanked the governor for supporting private sector investments and maintaining an enabling environment for businesses. She said the bank remained committed to supporting economic development and expanding access to financial services across the states. Governor Sheriff Oberewori has paid a condolence visit to the family of former Commissioner for Health Dr. Joseph Utumara at his country home in Ubuangwe, Warri South local government area. During the visit, the governor described the late physician, community leader and politician as a man whose life was defined by humility, selfless service, peace and dedication to the welfare of his people. He said Dr. Utumara's contributions to the development of his community and Delta State would continue to be remembered for generations. Governor Oberewori noted that the large number of sympathizers gathered at the residence was evidence of the respect and admiration the late elder statesman earned throughout his lifetime. According to him, such a remarkable turnout reflected the enduring impact Dr. Utumara had on lives of the people, of many people. The governor recalled his long-standing relationship with the deceased, stating that he had known him for many years and had always admired his simplicity, consistency, and unwavering commitment to peace. He said Dr. Utumara remained a respected voice in community affairs and an advocate of unity and development. Governor Oberewori assured the family and the people of Warri South that the state government would continue to honor the memory and contributions of the late statesman. He added that one of the greatest tributes that could be paid to him was the preservation of peace, harmony, and unity within the community. Responding on behalf of the family, Andrew Megbele expressed gratitude to the governor for his support and friendship towards the deceased, particularly during his period of illness. He described Dr. Tumara as a rare gem whose absence would be deeply felt and prayed for God to grant his soul eternal rest. Community youths have been advised to refrain from laying claim to properties that do not belong to them, as such actions discourage genuine investors and prospective land buyers. The special advisor to the governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, gave the advice during a meeting with Barrister Alex Owadimma and members of the Stapo Creative Society at the governor's office, Asaba, over an alleged case of land encroachment. Henry Unogwa reports.
Chief Uzo explained that the meeting followed a petition submitted to the state government by Mr. Alex Owadimma, a legal practitioner, on behalf of his clients over the alleged encroachment on a parcel of land purchased by the Staff Cooperative Society in 2019 at Amachai, Okpanam, in Oshimili South local government area. He frowned at the alleged involvement of unauthorized individuals in land transactions, particularly in cases where the original landowners are absent, and called on youths allegedly involved in chasing and threatening landowners to desist from such acts. The special advisor said the peace team had listened to the petitioners and advised them to provide the names and contact details of those involved to enable the government invite all parties for dialogue aimed at achieving a peaceful resolution.
They made a complaint about cooperative land they bought in Amacha, new layout, since 2019. And now invaders have entered the land with some of the community boys, chasing people away, threatening people, and so on and so forth. So we heard from them. We told them, luckily they had their numbers and their names. We were going to reach out to those people, that's what we told them, and revert back to them. We all of us will meet and discuss the issue before we know the way forward.
Chief Uzo also advised community leaders and elders against interfering in the sales of land that do not belong to them, describing such action as improper and capable of tarnishing the image of the community. Earlier, the petitioners narrated their experiences and appealed for swift government intervention while pledging to maintain peace even as they await the outcome of the mediation process.
We pay this money monthly. Some pay 2 years, some use 3 years to pay. And the painful aspect of it is when one of our members with their hand, the person was kidnapped. Not only she was kidnapped with the husband, and they paid heavily for it.
I went to go and meet our cooperative chairman. I said, see, that's my land. I want to fence that place now, and I want to plant something by myself because fine now, because of the economies now, everything is very hard. I need to plant things until I prepare to do things by the grace of God next year.
He bought it genuinely from the owner, and all the documents that concerning the land has been given to us. Now we should take it up the way it should be.
Henry Onogwa reporting.
The Director General of the State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Owenesiwe, has commended Governor Sheriff Oborevwori for proposing a workers' housing scheme aimed at expanding access to affordable housing for civil servants across the state. In a statement issued, Dr. Owenesiwe described the initiative as a major welfare intervention that reflected the governor's commitment to improving the living conditions of workers under the MORE agenda. He noted that the scheme would provide renewed hope for 7 civil servants seeking affordable and accessible home ownership opportunities. According to him, the governor's decision to engage the Ministry of Housing, the Delta State Mortgage Bank, and private sector partners demonstrated a deliberate and practical approach to addressing long-standing housing challenges facing workers. He added that the flexible and salary-friendly payment arrangements proposed under the scheme would help reduce barriers to home ownership and make housing more accessible to workers. Dr. Owenesiwe further stated that beyond housing delivery, the initiative would stimulate economic activities and reinforced Governor Oborewori's commitment to people-centered governance and sustainable development across Delta State. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has congratulated former chairman of the State Civil Service Commission, Dame Nkemo Kofo, on her 76th birthday, describing her as a distinguished leader whose contributions to public service and community development remained commendable. In a statement issued through his chief press secretary, Sir Festus Ahon, the governor praised Dame Okwofo for her years of dedicated service, exemplary leadership, and commitment to the growth and development of Delta State. Governor Oborewori also acknowledged her role in strengthening political structures and supporting development initiatives in Anyota North local government area and across the state, particularly through projects that enhance infrastructure and improved community welfare. The governor prayed for God's continued blessings upon the celebrant and wished her good health, strength, and many more years of impactful service to humanity. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to infrastructure development and improved living standards for Nigerians with the flag of two major road projects in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The projects included the construction of two service carriageways of the Southern Parkway from Eritrea Road S20 to Ring Road 2 in Gaduwa District, and the construction of Collector Road CO1 and the Institution and Research District from the 9 university axis to Ring Road 3. Represented by the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mentawe Yuwata, the President described the projects as key components of the administration's infrastructure revolution and renewed hope agenda. He said the Southern Parkway was a critical transportation corridor linking several districts within Abuja, and noted that the service carriageways would complete the original road design while easing traffic congestion in Durumi, Gudu, Gaduwa, Dubois, and neighboring communities. Speaking at the flag-off of Collector Road CO1, President Tinubu said the project will strengthen access to universities, research institutions, legal establishments, and innovation centers, thereby supporting education, innovation, and economic growth. The President added that the project forms part of a broader infrastructure renewal program that included the N20 corridor, the N16 interchange, and major road networks in Kuje, Bogolada, and Mabushi. Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, assured residents that infrastructure development across Abuja would continue despite the approaching election cycle. Mr. Wike said the administration remained focused on completing critical projects before the end of President Tinubu's first term, disclosing that assurances had been received from CGC Nigeria Limited on timely delivery. Also speaking, the Acting Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, Richard Dauda, said the contract for the Southern Parkway service carriageways was awarded in May 2026 and that the contractor had already mobilized to site. In a related development, President Bola Tinubu has forwarded the name of Abayomi Sunday Fashina to the Senate for confirmation as a non-career ambassador and high commissioner designate. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the nomination during Wednesday's plenary session after reading a letter from President Tinubu to lawmakers. In the letter, the President stated that the nomination was made in accordance with the provisions of Section 121, subsections 2, 3, and 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which guided such appointments. President Tinubu urged the Senate to consider and confirm the nominee expeditiously while conveying his highest regards to the Senate President and members of the upper legislative chamber. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has sworn in 4 newly elected senators following their victories in recent by-elections conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The lawmakers were Olaka Nwogu of the People's Democratic Party, representing Rivers Southeast, and Vulu Anza of the All Progressives Congress, representing Nasarawa North, Ikeje Asobu of the APC, representing Enugu North, and Dayo Fadirile of the APC, representing Ondo South. The inauguration followed the by-elections held last Saturday to fill vacancies in the 4 senatorial districts. Nwogu emerged following the death of Senator Barinada Mpigi, while Anza succeeded the late Godia and Kwashiki. Asogwa replaced the late Okechukwu Eza, while Fadirile emerged after the appointment of former Senator Jimo Ibrahim as Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations. During plenary, the clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, administered the oath of allegiance and oath of office to the 4 senators. Congratulating the lawmakers, Akpabio described the Senate as a family and formally welcomed them to the Red Chamber. He urged the new senators to remain committed to national development, stressing that they now represent the Federal Republic of Nigeria rather than their political parties. The Senate President also advised them to study the 1999 Constitution and the Senate Standing Orders as amended in 2023 to enable them effectively discharge their legislative responsibilities. Among the dignitaries present at the ceremony were Lucky Ayedatiwa and the Ondo State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Kayode Ajulo. The National Youth Service Corps has announced Thursday, July 9, 2026, that the official passing out date for members of the 2025 Batch B/1 serving across the country. The announcement was contained in a statement issued by the Scheme's Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embo, and shared on the NYSC's official social media platform. According to the statement, activities leading to the passing out ceremony commenced on June 23, 2026. The activities include job advisory and counseling sessions organized by the NYSC and other relevant agencies, registration and clearance of corps members by local government inspectors, as well as the signing of final clearance documents by zonal inspectors. The scheme stated that the low-key exercise would culminate in the distribution of certificates of national service to eligible corps members across all local government areas of the Federation. It explained that only corps members who have satisfactorily completed all requirements of the National Service Program would be issued the certificates. Meanwhile, the Director General of the NYSC, Olakule Nafiu, wished the outgoing corps members a successful winding up and passing out exercise. We urge them to uphold the core values of the scheme and remain worthy ambassadors of the NYSC in their future endeavors after completing national service. You're watching Delta Television Main News at 8. Still to come, Iran hails ceasefire as US defeats despite lingering tensions. Please stay. We'll be back.
We have a governor who is managing the resources of the state very, very prudently. When we say that governance will not cease because we are in what you may call pre-election year, you could see that the governor is walking the talk. He's looking ahead by delivering projects that touches the life of the people. We are doing this supervision and tour of these projects because the governor has made it clear that if you fall short of the provisions in the Bill of Engineering, Measurement and Evaluation, we will blacklist you and we are seeing much more quality work coming in. We're also seeing greater speed.
Welcome back. And from the foreign scene, Iran has described the agreement ending its war with the United States as a declaration of U.S. defeat, with Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf insisting that the deal was not the result of pressure or coercion. Despite the ceasefire, tensions remained high as both countries continue to disagree over key issues, including nuclear inspections and other aspects of the agreement. The impact of the conflict continued to be felt across the region, with the United Nations beginning the evacuation of about 11,000 sailors stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Brent crude prices fell to about $74.8 per barrel, the first time the benchmark has dropped below $75 since late February, reflecting easing concerns over disruptions to global oil supplies. In Lebanon, Israeli forces reportedly shelled the outskirts of Yatta in the Bein area, while Israel Katz said there had been no American demand for Israel to withdraw troops from southern Lebanon. Reports from the area indicated that although Israeli military operations have reduced in intensity, they have not ceased completely, with fresh military activities and casualties recorded. Regional leaders continue diplomatic efforts to sustain peace, with the prime ministers of Qatar and Pakistan, including Shehbaz Sharif, discussing the status of the US-Iran agreement and expressing optimism over ongoing technical talks. Analysts say Gulf nations are increasingly reassessing their security arrangements and seeking greater self-reliance following the recent conflict and attacks linked to Iran and its allied groups. Away from the foreign scene and back home, in business, the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources has convened an emergency stakeholders meeting involving the Department of State Services, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Nigeria Police Force, and other industry players to address the hoarding and diversion of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly known as cooking gas, to neighboring countries. According to a statement by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the meeting was prompted by the recent increase in LPG prices. The engagement brought together government officials, regulators, producers, marketers, terminal operators, and industry associations to examine factors responsible for rising prices and agree on practical measures to strengthen the LPG value chain. Speaking at the meeting, Patience Oyekunle described LPG as a critical energy source for households and an important component of Nigeria's energy transition agenda. She noted that rising prices have placed additional pressure on household budgets and increasing the cost of essential goods, stressing the need for collective action to improve access to affordable cooking gas. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Mr. Ekperikpe Ekpo, said President Bola Tinubu was concerned about the impact of rising LPG prices on Nigerians and has directed relevant agencies to take proactive steps to address the situation. The authority chief executive of the NMDPRA, Rabiu Umar, attributed the price increase partly to high landing costs, but expressed optimism that ongoing interventions across the value chain would ease market pressures in the coming weeks. A thought for the day: history does not remember those who merely complained about the world. It remembers those who had the courage to change it. Take a look at our highlights before we go. Governor Sheriff Oborowori has inaugurated the Osubi branch of Zenith Bank PLC in Okpe local government area, describing the development as a strong endorsement of Delta State's economic potential and investor-friendly environment. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Governor Oborowori said the opening of the bank's 19th branch in the state reflected growing confidence in the state's economy and affirmed the success of his administration's efforts to create a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to infrastructure development and improved living standards for Nigerians with the flag off of 2 major road projects in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources has convened an emergency stakeholders meeting involving the Department of State Services, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Nigeria Police Force, and other industry players to address the hoarding and diversion of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly known as cooking gas, to neighboring countries. And abroad, Iran has described the agreement ending its war with the United States as a declaration of U.S. defeat, with Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf insisting that the deal was not the result of pressure or coercion. And that's our news. You can also follow us online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Pauline Okole. Good night.